Dr. Olivia Bennett wiped sweat from her forehead as she rushed down the hospital hallway. Another busy day at Chicago Memorial Hospital meant no breaks and little time to think. As the lead doctor in the Children's Emergency Care Unit, she was used to the chaos. "Dr. Bennett, room 3, shouted Nurse Kelly, holding up a medical chart. Olivia grabbed the chart without slowing down. A quick glance told her everything she needed to know. 8-year-old boy, gunshot wound to the shoulder, heavy bleeding but stable vital signs. Just another Tuesday in Chicago. Get me 2 units of O negative and prep the small surgery room. She called back to the nurse. She pushed through the door to find a small boy lying on the bed. His mother stood beside him, eyes red from crying but staying strong for her son. The boy was pale but conscious, his eyes wide with fear. "Hi there," Olivia said, her voice instantly softer. "I'm Dr. Bennett. What's your name?" "Aaron," the boy whispered. "Aaron, you're being very brave. I'm going to take care of that shoulder for you. It's going to be okay." As she spoke, her hands were already moving, checking the temporary bandage the paramedics had applied. The wound was bad, but not the worst she had seen. She had treated 3 similar cases last month alone. "He was just playing in the park," the mother said, her voice breaking. "Wrong place, wrong time." Olivia nodded. She had heard this story too, many times. "We're going to fix him up, Ms. Jackson. Aaron is going to be fine." Her team moved around her like a well-practiced dance. They had done this hundreds of times together. Within minutes, Aaron was prepped for surgery, anesthesia administered by Dr. Frank Lewis, who gave Olivia a nod. "Ready when you are, Liv." 3 hours later, Olivia stepped out of surgery. The bullet had been removed, the damage repaired, and Aaron would make a full recovery. Her scrubs were stained with blood, and her back ached from standing bent over the operating table, but another child would live. That was all that mattered. She had just finished washing up when her pager beeped. The chief of medicine wanted to see her immediately. Unusual, but not alarming. Probably budget discussions again, the eternal battle, for more resources for the pediatric department. When she entered Dr. Howard Graham's office, she was surprised to find him sitting with 2 people she had never seen before. They wore strange formal clothing that looked almost like uniforms, but unlike any she recognized. "Ah, Dr. Bennett. Thank you for coming so quickly," Dr. Graham said, standing to greet her. He seemed nervous, which was odd for the usually confident hospital chief. "These visitors have asked specifically to speak with you." The taller of the 2 strangers stood. She was a woman with unusual features. Her skin had a slight purple tint, and her eyes were larger than normal. Olivia might have thought it was a medical condition if it weren't for her colleague, who shared the same traits. "Dr. Olivia Bennett," the woman said with a slight accent Olivia couldn't place. "My name is Ambassador Ilara. This is Dr. Zenith, our chief medical officer. We represent the Galactic Confederation." Olivia blinked, waiting for someone to tell her this was an elaborate joke. When no one did, she slowly sat down in the chair Dr. Graham offered. "I'm sorry, the what?" "The Galactic Confederation. We are an alliance of spacefaring civilizations. We have been observing Earth for some time, and recently established diplomatic relations with your United Nations." This had to be a joke, or maybe she had fallen asleep in her office after the surgery. But everything felt too real. The visitors' strange clothes with materials she couldn't identify, their odd speech patterns, and the serious look on Dr. Graham's face. "This is real," Dr. Graham said, reading her expression. "The government has kept it quiet while they figure out how to announce it to the public. Only a few key people have been informed." "And why am I one of those people?" Olivia asked, finding her voice at last. Dr. Zenith spoke for the first time. His voice was deeper but had the same strange accent. "We have an emergency. A medical situation involving a child." Now Olivia understood. Whatever these people were, aliens apparently, they needed her professional help. "A child from the diplomatic mission has fallen ill," Ambassador Ilara explained. "Our medical team is struggling to stabilize him. His condition is worsening despite our best efforts." I'm a human doctor, Olivia said. I don't know anything about alien physiology. That is precisely why we need you, Dr. Zenith said. Your species comes from what we classify as a Class 12 Deathworld. A what? A planet with conditions considered extremely hostile to life by galactic standards. High gravity, extreme weather patterns, dangerous wildlife, and remarkable biological diversity, including many pathogens. Earth, Dr. Graham clarified. Yes, Ambassador Alara continued. Humans have evolved remarkable adaptability and resilience. Your medical practices reflect this. You routinely survive conditions that would be fatal to most species in the galaxy. Olivia tried to process this information. Earth, a death world. Humans considered extraordinarily tough by alien standards. It seemed absurd, yet the aliens spoke, with complete conviction. The young patient is not responding to our standard treatments, Dr. Zenith explained. We believe a human doctor, specifically a pediatrician used to emergency situations, might see something we have missed. His name is Zalix, Ambassador Alara added, her voice softening. He is the child of Ambassador Krell, a respected diplomat. He is 7 standard cycles, similar to your Earth years. Olivia thought of Aaron, the boy she had just saved. Another child needed her help. Did it matter if that child wasn't human? What are his symptoms, she asked, already thinking like a doctor again. Respiratory distress, elevated body temperature, and declining organ function, Dr. Zenith replied. Olivia stood up. I'll need to see him and all your medical data. I can't promise anything, but I'll do my best. Ambassador Alara looked relieved. A transport is waiting to take us to the embassy compound. We have established a quarantine unit there. As they walked out of the hospital, Olivia's mind raced with questions. Aliens. A galactic community. Earth classified as too dangerous for most species. It was overwhelming. Yet one thing remained clear. A child needed her help. Human or alien, that was something she understood. As a doctor from Earth, apparently one of the toughest planets in the galaxy, she would do what she had always done. Adapt, overcome, and save lives. The transport door closed behind them, and Olivia Bennett, human doctor from a death world, began the journey that would change not only her life, but pediatric medicine across the galaxy. The transport vehicle moved silently through the streets of Chicago. Olivia looked out the window, surprised that something so unusual could travel without drawing attention. It looked like a normal black SUV from the outside, but the interior felt different, more spacious than it should be, with seats that adjusted to her body in ways that earthly technology couldn't manage. How long has your kind been visiting Earth? She asked, trying to make sense of everything. Official contact with your governments began 3 years ago, Ambassador Alara explained. But observation has been ongoing for decades. And no one knows? A controlled disclosure process is underway, Dr. Zenith said. Your leaders wish to prepare properly before informing the general public. The vehicle turned into what appeared to be an ordinary office building downtown. But as they entered the underground parking area, a hidden entrance opened, revealing a secure facility unlike anything Olivia had ever seen. Welcome to the Confederation Embassy, Ambassador Alara said as they stepped out. Please follow me to the medical bay. Olivia followed them through corridors lit by a soft light that seemed to come from the walls themselves. Everything was clean and efficient but strangely curved, as if straight lines were somehow uncomfortable to their designers. The medical bay looked both familiar and alien. There were beds and monitoring equipment, but the designs were different. In the center of the room was a clear chamber where a small figure lay still. This is Zalix, Dr. Zenith said, leading her to the chamber. Olivia's first thought was that Zalix looked almost human. If humans had pale blue skin, slightly larger heads, and 6 fingers on each hand. He was small, perhaps the size of a 5-year-old, Earthchild, though she had been told he was 7. His breathing was clearly labored, with a wheezing sound that Olivia recognized from her years treating asthma patients. May I see his vital signs? She asked. Dr. Zenith waved his hand over a panel, and a display appeared in midair. The numbers and charts were unfamiliar, but he quickly explained what each reading meant: heart rate, blood oxygen, body temperature. All were dangerously off from what was normal for his species. "What treatments have you tried?" Olivia asked, studying the readings. "Standard anti-pathogen protocols, respiratory support, temperature regulation," Dr. Zenith listed. "Nothing has improved his condition. It's been getting steadily worse for 3 days." Olivia frowned. Something wasn't right. "These readings, his oxygen levels are dropping despite respiratory support?" "Yes. We've increased oxygen concentration to maximum safe levels." "And what are those levels?" 15% oxygen atmosphere, filtered for contaminants." Olivia looked up sharply. "Earth's atmosphere is 21% oxygen. You've got him in a reduced oxygen environment?" Dr. Zenith seemed confused. "Standard galactic atmospheric mix is 12%. We increased it for him as his condition worsened. But he's on Earth now," Olivia said, thinking quickly. "Has he been outside the embassy at all?" Ambassador Alara answered. "Yes, he visited a local park with his father 2 days before falling ill. They wore atmospheric filters, of course." Olivia moved closer to the chamber. "I need to check something. Can you open this?" Dr. Zenith hesitated. "Our atmosphere is configured for his needs." "I think that might be the problem," Olivia said firmly. "Please, open it." After a moment of uncertainty, Dr. Zenith pressed a control, and the top of the chamber slid open. Olivia leaned in, listening carefully to Zalix's breathing. She checked his skin, which had a slight rash she hadn't noticed before. "I think I know what's happening," she said. "He's having an allergic reaction, but not to something in our atmosphere. To your treatment." She stepped back and turned to face the alien doctors. "On Earth, when someone has trouble breathing, we often see 2 main causes: infection or allergic reaction. Your treatments assume it's an infection, but the symptoms match anaphylaxis, a severe allergic reaction. The reduced oxygen is making it worse, not better." Both aliens stared at her. "Allergic reaction to what?" Ambassador Alara asked. "I'd guess to your atmospheric filters or to the medicine you're giving him." "When did symptoms start? Right after the park visit or later?" "The morning after," Dr. Zenith admitted. "After he was treated with preventative medicines," Olivia concluded. "I think he's allergic to your standard medications, and keeping him in reduced oxygen is making it harder for his body to fight the reaction." Dr. Zenith's expression was hard to read, but Olivia sensed skepticism. "What do you propose?" "First, we need to match Earth's normal oxygen levels, 21%. Then we need epinephrine and antihistamines formulated for his biology. Those are emergency medications. On most worlds," Dr. Zenith said, alarmed. "On Earth, they're everyday treatments for allergies," Olivia explained. "Our bodies deal with allergic reactions constantly because of our diverse environment. We've adapted to manage them quickly." After a tense discussion, they agreed to try her approach. Olivia helped them adjust the atmospheric settings and prepare medication doses that were safe for Zalix's body, but would counteract the allergic response. Within an hour, Zalix's breathing had improved. The blue color of his skin deepened, a good sign, Dr. Zenith explained, equivalent to a human's healthy pink. 2 hours later, he opened his eyes. A tall figure rushed into the medical bay. Ambassador Krell, Zalix's father. He looked similar to his son, but with darker blue skin and more pronounced features. When he saw his son awake and improving, his relief was unmistakable despite his alien expressions. "You saved him," he said to Olivia, his voice deep and musical. "When our own doctors could not." "I just recognized something familiar," Olivia said modestly. "On Earth, we see these reactions all the time. Our world is full of things that can trigger allergies." Ambassador Krell stood very straight, as if making a formal declaration. "The Confederation owes you a debt, Dr. Bennett. I owe you a personal debt." Ambassador Alara stepped forward. "This demonstrates exactly what we hope to learn from Earth physicians. Your adaptability and experience with hostile conditions gives you insights our medical science lacks." Dr. Zenith was examining Zalix's new readings. Remarkable. Such a simple solution, yet none of us considered it. We're trained to protect patients from environmental dangers, not to recognize when protection itself becomes harmful. Different worlds, different approaches, Olivia said. On Earth, we often say that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Our medical practice reflects that philosophy. Sometimes the body needs to face challenges to overcome them. As Zalix continued to improve, word spread through the embassy. By evening, Olivia found herself surrounded by curious alien medical staff, all wanting to learn about Earth's approach to treatment. Would you be willing to share more of your knowledge? Ambassador Alara asked, as Olivia prepared to return to her hospital. Perhaps consult on other cases. Olivia thought about the children at Chicago Memorial, the daily struggles and victories. Then she thought about Zalix and how a simple Earth treatment had saved him, when advanced alien medicine could not. Yes, she said. I think we have a lot to learn from each other. She didn't realize then that this was just the beginning. That, one day soon, her Deathworld medical knowledge would take her to the stars and change pediatric care across the galaxy forever. 6 months passed since Olivia first treated Zalix. Word spread quickly through the diplomatic community about the human doctor who could treat alien children when their own doctors failed. Twice a week, after her regular shifts at Chicago Memorial, Olivia visited the embassy to consult on cases. She helped treat everything from minor rashes to serious respiratory problems in young aliens. Each case taught her more about different species while showing the alien doctors how Earth medicine approached problems. On a cool autumn evening, Olivia was examining charts in her office when her phone rang. It was Ambassador Alara. Dr. Bennett, I hope I'm not disturbing you, the ambassador said, her voice carrying its usual musical quality. Not at all. Is there an emergency at the embassy? No emergency, but we have an important matter to discuss. Could you come to the embassy tomorrow morning? Dr. Nexus, the medical director of the Galactic Confederation, wishes to meet you. Olivia felt a flutter of nervousness. The medical director? Coming to Earth? Yes. Your success with our children has attracted attention at the highest levels of Confederation medicine. The next morning, Olivia arrived at the embassy earlier than necessary. She had barely slept, wondering what this meeting could mean. Ambassador Alara met her in the lobby and led her to a conference room she had never visited before. Inside, a tall figure stood looking out the window at the Chicago skyline. When he turned, Olivia saw that Dr. Nexus had deep green skin with faint patterns like leaves. His eyes were golden and seemed to glow slightly in the room's light. Dr. Bennett, he said, his voice deeper than any she had heard before. It is an honor to meet you. The honor is mine, she replied, trying to hide her nervousness. They sat at a round table with Ambassador Alara. Dr. Nexus placed his hands flat on the table, a gesture Olivia had learned was a sign of openness and honesty among many species. I have reviewed all your cases over the past 6 months, he said. Your approach to medicine is unlike anything in our standard practices, yet your results are undeniable. I'm just applying what I learned on Earth, Olivia said. Precisely. Dr. Nexus nodded. And that is why I am here. I wish to offer you a position as Chief Pediatric Consultant at the Galactic Confederation Medical Center on Centralis Station. Olivia blinked, sure she had misheard. I'm sorry, you want me to work? Where? Centralis Station. It is our primary medical facility, orbiting the galactic core. We treat the most complex cases from across the Confederation there. Olivia tried to process what he was saying. You want me to leave Earth? To work in space? Yes. Dr. Nexus's golden eyes seemed to study her reaction carefully. Your adaptability and your Earth perspective would be invaluable to us. You would be the first human doctor to join our staff. But I've never even left Earth. I don't know the first thing about alien physiology beyond the few species I've treated here. That is precisely why we want you, Ambassador Alara said gently. You don't follow our established protocols. You observe, adapt, and overcome. On a station with hundreds of different species, that skill is invaluable. Olivia looked down at her hands. This is unexpected. I would need time to think. Of course, Dr. Nexus said. But before you decide, let me show you something. He placed a small device on the table. When he touched it, a three-dimensional image appeared above it. A massive space station shaped like a wheel with spokes connecting to a central hub. This is Centralis, he explained. Home to over 10,000 medical professionals from 800 species. Our pediatric division treats children from across the galaxy, but our success rates are not what they should be. The image changed to show medical charts and statistics. Since implementing some of your treatment approaches with diplomatic families, here on Earth success rates have improved by 30%. Imagine what you could do with full access to our facilities and technology. Olivia stared at the floating images. Part of her wanted to say this was crazy. She was just a doctor from Chicago, not some interstellar medical pioneer. But another part of her, the part that had become a doctor to help children who needed her, saw the opportunity to help on a scale she had never imagined. What about my life here, my job? We understand the sacrifice we're asking, Ambassador Alara said. The position comes with living quarters on Centralis, regular communication access to Earth, and the option to return home for visits. The initial contract would be for 1 Earth year, with the option to extend or return permanently. When would you need my answer? The diplomatic vessel leaves in 2 weeks, Dr. Nexus said. We hope you will be on it. After the meeting, Olivia walked along Lake Michigan trying to clear her head. The water was choppy, waves breaking against the shore. Just like her thoughts, unsettled and crashing against each other. Leave Earth, work in space, treat alien. Children from across the galaxy? It seemed impossible. Yet she kept thinking about Zalix and the other children she had helped. How many more could she help at this Centralis station? How much could she learn? How much could she teach? By the time she reached her apartment, her decision was made. She called her parents first. They would think she was taking a research position overseas. The public still didn't know about the Confederation. Then she called Dr. Graham at the hospital to request a 1-year leave of absence. 2 weeks later, Olivia stood in a hidden section of O'Hare Airport, a single suitcase at her feet. Ambassador Alara and Dr. Nexus waited near a door that supposedly led to a private hangar, but would actually take her to their ship. Ready, Dr. Bennett? Ambassador Alara asked. Olivia took a deep breath and nodded. As ready as I'll ever be. The door opened, and Olivia Bennett, a doctor from Earth, a Deathworld human, took her first step toward the stars and her new role in galactic medicine. She didn't know what challenges waited for her on Centralis Station. She didn't know how different medicine would be there, or how other species would react to a human doctor. But she knew that somewhere in that vast galaxy, children needed help. And helping children in need was something she understood better than anything else in the universe. Olivia's first glimpse of Centralis Station took her breath away. After a week-long journey through space that felt like a strange dream, the ship's view screen showed her new home. A massive wheel-shaped structure with glowing sections and countless ships moving around it like bees around a hive. It's beautiful, she whispered. Centralis is our greatest achievement, Dr. Nexus said, standing beside her. 5 miles across, home to 30,000 residents from over 1,000 worlds with the most advanced medical facilities in the galaxy. As their ship docked, Olivia felt her stomach tighten with nervous energy. She had spent the journey studying alien anatomy and medical protocols, but still felt woefully unprepared. How could she possibly live up to their expectations? The docking area buzzed with activity. Beings of all shapes, sizes, and colors moved through the wide corridors. Some looked almost human. Others were so different that Olivia struggled to understand how their bodies functioned at all. Floating orbs of light passed by, communicating in musical tones. A tall, insect-like being with 4 arms nodded respectfully to Dr. Nexus. This way to the medical wing. Dr. Nexus guided her through the crowd. Your quarters are connected to the pediatric section for easy access. The medical center occupied nearly a third of the station. As they walked, Dr. Nexus explained how it was organized. Sections for different types of treatments, research labs, recovery areas. The pediatric wing was near the center, decorated in soft colors that seemed soothing across species. "This will be your office," he said, stopping at a doorway. The room was larger than her office at Chicago Memorial, with a desk that adjusted to her height when she approached it. The walls displayed medical information that changed as she looked at different sections. A window looked out into space, stars shining like distant promises. "It's perfect," she said, trying to sound confident despite her nerves. "Your first official day begins tomorrow," Dr. Nexus told her. "Today, rest and adjust to station time. Tomorrow, you'll meet your team." Alone in her new quarters, Olivia unpacked her few belongings. The room automatically adjusted its lighting and temperature to human preferences. A communication panel allowed her to send messages back to Earth, though there would be delays depending on the ship schedules. She slept poorly that night, dreams full of strange alien faces and medical emergencies she couldn't understand. When morning came, or what passed for morning on a space station, she dressed in the Confederation medical uniform provided for her. A light blue tunic with darker blue pants, designed to be recognized across all species as medical personnel. Her new team waited in a conference room connected to the pediatric ward. 6 doctors from 6 different species looked at her with expressions ranging from curiosity to skepticism. Dr. Vrek, a short, stocky being with gray skin and 4 eyes, seemed particularly doubtful. "Welcome to Centralis, Dr. Bennett," he said, his translator making his tone sound clipped and formal. "We have reviewed your Earth credentials. They are interesting." Olivia recognized the challenge in his voice. "Thank you for having me. I know I have much to learn about Confederation medicine, but I hope I also have something valuable to share." "Learning will certainly be necessary," Dr. Vrek replied. "Our protocols have been refined over thousands of years." Before tension could build further, the door opened and a nurse rushed in. At least Olivia assumed it was a nurse from the different colored uniform. The being had feathers instead of hair and spoke rapidly in a language Olivia's translator struggled with. Emergency. Case arriving. Murbani child, age equivalent 4 Earth years. Genetic disorder causing rapid deterioration. All thoughts of awkward introductions vanished as the team moved to the emergency treatment room. A small blue child with gill-like structures on their neck was being transferred to a treatment bed. The child's parents hovered nearby, their distress obvious despite their alien features. Monitors displayed vital signs that meant little to Olivia yet, but the declining patterns needed no translation. The child was failing rapidly. Dr. Vrek took charge immediately. "Begin standard protocol for Murbani genetic disorders. Full genetic sequencing, enzyme therapy preparation." Olivia watched as the team worked, trying to absorb everything. The treatment seemed logical. Identify the genetic problem, prepare a customized enzyme to correct it, administer therapy gradually over several days. But something seemed wrong. As they applied the first treatment, the child's vital signs dipped, even lower. "Reaction to the enzyme therapy," one of the other doctors noted. "Expected. Will adjust dosage and continue in 6 hours per protocol." Olivia frowned. "The child will continue deteriorating for 6 hours while we wait?" Dr. Vrek turned to her. "The protocol requires gradual adjustment to prevent shock to the system. On Earth, when a child is declining this rapidly, we wouldn't..." "Wait," Olivia said carefully. "The risk of waiting seems greater than the risk of treatment." "This is not Earth, Dr. Bennett," Dr. Vrek replied stiffly. "Our protocols are failing this patient," Olivia interrupted, pointing to the monitors. "Those readings show metabolic failure accelerating. In 6 hours, there may be permanent damage." The room fell silent. The other doctors looked uncomfortable. At her challenge to Dr. Vrek's authority, Olivia took a deep breath and softened her approach. "I understand the protocol is designed to be cautious, but may I suggest a modified approach? On Earth, we would adjust the enzyme formulation to reduce shock while still delivering effective treatment immediately." Dr. Vrek's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "That contradicts established practice." "But it might save this child from permanent harm," Olivia persisted. "We could prepare a buffered version of the enzyme, delivered in a continuous infusion rather than periodic doses. The child's system would adjust gradually while still receiving immediate benefit. One of the other doctors, a tall being with crystalline skin that seemed to shimmer, spoke up. "The approach has merit, Dr. Vrek. It combines our caution with Earth's adaptability." After tense discussion, Dr. Vrek reluctantly agreed to try Olivia's approach. They modified the enzyme treatment, creating a buffered version that could be administered continuously. Within an hour, the child's vital signs stabilized. By the end of the day, clear improvement showed on all monitors. The Merbini parents pressed their foreheads to Olivia's hand, a gesture of deep gratitude in their culture. Dr. Vrek's attitude remained cool, but the other doctors looked at Olivia with new respect. "Different approaches have value," the crystalline doctor told her as they updated the child's records. "Perhaps there is much we can learn from Deathworld medicine after all." Olivia smiled, feeling some of her uncertainty fade. She still had much to learn about alien physiology and Confederation practices, but today had shown that her Earth experiences, her Deathworld training, had value here among the stars. That night, looking out her window at the vastness of space, Olivia felt something she hadn't expected: hope. Not just for her success at Centralis, but for what this exchange of knowledge could mean for children throughout the galaxy. 5 years passed since Olivia first arrived at Centralis Station. What began as a 1-year contract had extended again and again. Now she couldn't imagine leaving. Her office walls, once bare, were covered with drawings from grateful alien children and their families. Awards and recognition certificates hung beside them, honors she had never sought but had earned through her revolutionary approach to pediatric care. Olivia stood in the observation deck, watching ships come and go. Her reflection in the glass showed how little she had changed physically. Still the same dark hair, though with a few more gray strands, the same determined eyes. But inside, she had transformed completely. "Dr. Bennett?" A soft voice interrupted her thoughts. She turned to see Zalix, now 12 years old and much taller than when she had first treated him on Earth. He had become something of an unofficial assistant during his visits to the station with his father. "Thear, students are ready for your lecture," he said with the formal politeness typical of his species. "Thank you, Zalix," she smiled. "Lead the way." They walked together through the busy corridors of Centralis. People of all species nodded respectfully as she passed. Many owed their children's lives to her methods. The Earth Doctor, they called her, sometimes with awe, sometimes with lingering skepticism. The lecture hall was packed with medical students from dozens of worlds. What had begun as informal sharing of her Earth techniques had grown into the Centralis Pediatric Research Academy, a formal program teaching what had become known throughout the galaxy as Deathworld medicine. Dr. Vrek stood at the entrance to the hall. Over the years, their relationship had evolved from rivalry to grudging respect to genuine friendship. Today, he would co-teach with her. "Ready to shock the students again?" he asked, his 4 eyes blinking in what she now recognized as amusement. "They need a little shock," she replied. "It keeps their minds open." Inside, 300 faces turned toward her expectantly. Some looked almost human, others completely alien. All were united by a desire to learn new approaches to medicine. "Welcome to Advanced Pediatric Adaptability," she began. "Today we continue our discussion of resilience-focused treatment." She activated the room's display system, showing medical charts from a recent case, a young Palaxian with severe trauma from a mining accident. The patient had made a full recovery using techniques that combined Confederation technology with Earth-inspired treatment philosophies. 5 years ago, this child would have been treated with protective isolation and minimal intervention, she explained. The conventional wisdom was to shield young patients from stress during recovery. Dr. Vrek stepped forward. "I was trained in those methods. We believed children were too fragile to participate actively in their healing." Dr. Bennett's Earth approach challenged everything we thought we knew. Olivia nodded her thanks and continued. "On Earth, we learned that children are incredibly resilient. Their bodies and minds want to heal. Sometimes the best treatment is to support that natural process rather than replace it. As she spoke, memories flashed through her mind. Her early days at Centralis, the resistance she had faced, the breakthrough cases that had changed minds. The emergency when refugees from the war-torn Palaxis system had arrived, hundreds of injured children overwhelming the medical staff. That had been the turning point. When traditional methods couldn't keep up with the crisis, Olivia had implemented emergency protocols from Earth disaster medicine. She had organized teams, trained nurses to recognize cross-species warning signs, and treated the most critical cases with adapted Earth trauma techniques. The success had been undeniable. Death rates dropped drastically. Children who would have faced months of recovery were back with their families in weeks. After that, even the most skeptical doctors had been willing to learn from the Deathworld doctor. Afterward, Dr. Nexus had approached her with a proposal: create a formal academy to teach these methods to doctors throughout the Confederation. The Centralis Pediatric Research Academy was born. Today's case study, she continued, bringing her focus back to the lecture, demonstrates our core principle. Children are more resilient than we give them credit for, regardless of species. After the lecture, Olivia met with Dr. Nexus in his office. He looked the same as when they had first met, his green skin still vibrant, though the patterns had shifted slightly with age. The Galactic Medical Council has made their decision, he said without preamble. Olivia held her breath. For months, the council had been debating whether to officially recognize Deathworld medicine as a specialty within Confederation medical practice. They voted in favor, Dr. Nexus said, his golden eyes bright with satisfaction. Effective immediately, Deathworld medicine is an official specialty, with you as its first certified practitioner. Joy and pride filled her chest. And the education initiative? Approved as well. 5 new training centers will be established across the galaxy, teaching your methods to doctors from all member worlds. Olivia stood at the window of Dr. Nexus's office looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there, Earth continued its journey around the sun. The planet most species considered too dangerous to visit had given the galaxy something precious, a new way of healing its youngest members. There's one more thing, Dr. Nexus said, joining her at the window. The council has created a new position, Galactic Pediatric Director. They want you to fill it. Olivia turned to him in surprise. Me? But I'm just one doctor from a world that taught you to adapt and overcome, he finished for her. From a world whose harsh conditions created a medical approach that is saving lives across the galaxy. You are exactly who we need. That evening, Olivia called her parents on Earth. The communication delay meant conversations weren't exactly natural, but she had grown used to it. She told them about the new position, watching their faces fill with pride when her message finally reached them. We always knew you would do great things, her mother said when her reply came through. We just never imagined how far your work would take you. As she prepared for bed that night, Olivia looked at a photo from her days at Chicago Memorial, herself surrounded by the children she had treated there. So much had changed since then. So much remained the same. Whether on Earth or Centralis, her purpose was unchanging, to help children heal. Tomorrow she would begin her new role as Galactic Pediatric Director. Earth, once dismissed as a death world too hostile for civilized life, had provided the galaxy with exactly what it needed most. A doctor who understood that true healing comes not from avoiding hardship, but from learning to overcome it. And that was a lesson worth spreading throughout the stars.